Good evening, denizens of the night, and welcome to Fangs After Dark. Tonight, I wanted to discuss with you a topic that I think a lot of us STs take for granted. Something that I feel we all know, but we don't really consider in the moment. I call it the love letter to the ST. You might have heard of that as the love letter to the DM, the GM, because this concept isn't just for World of Darkness, but for any ttrpg really. But I think it applies mostly to the World of Darkness, or I should say it applies more broadly to the World of Darkness. Now, what is the concept of the love letter to the ST? Well, as you know, every player creates a character, and that character has statistics and attributes and skills and all these little things that are put onto the character sheet. What this concept means is that what the player chooses to put on that character sheet is indicative of what they want to see within the confines of this game. It's a very simple concept that I think a lot of us overlook. Now, this isn't necessarily something that is a super huge deal, because most of us as STs and players should be having session zeros. We should be having conversations with each other to determine what kind of game we're going to play, what's expected, what is allowed, what isn't allowed, all these things. There should already be a baseline kind of set up before you would really need to use this tool. But this tool is something useful that the ST can use to kind of give them a little pre-blueprint as to the campaign. For an example, you have a player who is going to make your atypical Bruja brawler, pugilist. You can infer from that this player wants to have fights in the game. They want to be able to fight. That is what they made their character to do. That is what they want to experience. So because of that, you want to include these kinds of scenarios in your campaign. That doesn't mean that you have to include it in every single session, though it is also a part of the player's responsibility as a player to play into that role. So if they're playing a brawler and they want to fight, their character should probably be prone to trying to get into fights, to instigating those kinds of situations. That way they have that kind of experience. It's not just the ST feeding it to them, but they are also searching it out and creating organic narratives to lead to that. And the same thing goes with other characters. You have a Toreador socialite who wants to have plenty of social interactions. You have a Tremere researcher who wants to find secrets and learn information. You have a Banu Hakim assassin who wants to do assassin things, or to sneak around, a Nosferatu information gatherer who wants to sneak around and find information. You have these very baseline things that the players are going to want to experience within the game, and as an ST, their character sheet kind of tells you that. Now, and it goes deeper as well. You have these baseline concepts that are very easy to understand, but then you also have the nuance of what they add onto the character sheet, especially in V5, where they have lore sheets, where they tie into the meta plot. If someone takes a lore sheet that has already been discussed as being okay for the game, you should assume that that player wants to experience this. They take the lore sheet where they are connected to Helena. That means they want to see Helena in the game. They take the lore sheet for Second Inquisition. That means they want to have the Second Inquisition show up in the game. These things are important to keep track of as an ST because it tells you a lot about what the players want to see, and you can craft stories based on that. Like I said, this is after you've already had your baseline discussions, session zeros, and all that. But it's a good tool to utilize if you feel maybe you're a little bit stuck. Revisit the the player's character sheets. Look at what they have written on there and be like, oh, I forgot that they had the enemy flaw. I forgot that they had this going on. And you can craft something from just looking at their character sheets. It's a very, very useful tool, especially when you're kind of stuck in your campaign. You're trying to figure out what to do next. But as I said, it is also a player's responsibility as a player to play into the role that they have designated for themselves. It's always a two-way street. But I wanted to put that out there because, like I said, I feel it might be something that a lot of us kind of look over. Not necessarily that we don't know it, because I feel we all know what this is. But sometimes we can just forget that that's a viable option or tool that we can use. So, that was a quick little video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it explained a little bit about what I mean as the love letter to the ST, and I hope it helps you in your future gaming endeavors. And I'll see you at the next video real soon. And remember, nothing good ever happens after dark.